Hey everyone, are you bored at your house? Are you up for an adventure? Are you ready to be fed with ancient knowledge? And by ancient, I'm talking about the inventions crafted and constructed deliberately from the ancient period. Oh, by the way, I'm Angelica Ancheta, and I will be your guide for the day. I will be taking you all to various places and ask some natives on the way about these so-called great inventions created by their forefathers. What are you waiting for? Let's go! Our first destination is China. We're here! Did you know Chinese civilization rose along the Yellow River, or also known as the Mother River of China, where the 2,000-year world of Chinese politics, culture, and economy were instigated? Quite history from one place, if you must say. We'll be conferring 4 ancient inventions produced here: the compass, noodles, rocket, and seismograph with some of the natives. The compass. Hello, ma'am. Can you enlighten us with information about the compass?
Compass was dubbed as South Governor during the Han Dynasty between the 2nd century BC and 1st century AD. It was originally developed in order to align buildings with directions north, south, east, and west, and as a tool incorporated for fortune telling. Later on, it was integrated as instrument for navigation purposes. The reason why it is called as South Governor was because the materials attached in it, the lodestone automatically points to the south. The lodestone was carved into a shape of a spoon and was placed on a flat bronze plate. As the bronze plate moved, the lodestone spins around and comes to a stop in a north to south orientation, with the handle pointing to the south. The magnetized lodestone aligned itself with the Earth's magnetic field, and this style of the compass was called the South Pointer. The bronze plate was also marked with constellation, cardinal points, and other symbols important to the ancient Chinese.
We're done with the compass. Let's then proceed with the noodles.
Around 2005, scientists discovered a 4,000-year-old sealed bowl with long, thin yellow noodles at the Lajia archaeological site in northwestern China. The noodles were made from broom core millet and foxtail millet. It had high level of food processing and culinary sophistication. Chinese noodles were recorded back to 25 BC to 200 BC, referring to the East Han Dynasty. Noodles are a type of food made from unleavened dough, which is rolled flat and cut, stretched or exhausted into strips or strings. Chinese people believe that noodles are for long life. Noodles represent longevity, and as such are served when you want to wish someone long life.
Let's move with the next ancient invention. Hi ma'am, can you share your knowledge about rockets?
Yes, miss. Even before the creation of gunpowder, the Chinese were using the term rocket. In the year 228, the ancient Chinese used arrows that are lit with fire to defend an area of the country from intruders. This created a new word which literally meant fire arrow, which means rocket in the Chinese alphabet. These fire arrows were used as a way to set fires and as defense from large numbers of invading troops. The ancient Chinese rockets which were used at that time were made from a hollow barrel filled with gunpowder, feather, arrowhead, and arrow barrel. This provided a good mix for a rocket, and later models were capable of propelling themselves.
So, as per what you have heard, the rockets were simply used as a weapon of war and were incorporated by troops to defend for any possible invasion. Then, we're off with the last invention, the seismograph.
Seismograph is an ancient earthquake detector invented in 132 AD by Chang Heng, a brilliant Chinese mathematician and scientist in the Han Dynasty. The ancient Chinese believed seismic events, with their death and destruction, were important signs from heaven, so it was important to the Han court to be alerted to earthquakes occurring anywhere in the kingdom. The sign for an earthquake was the falling of a ball from the dragon into the mouth of a toad. The direction of the earthquake is indicated by the position of the toad which swallowed the ball. Most experts agree, however, that it works on the principle of inertia. A mass is suspended, an earthquake shakes the vessel, causing a slight displacement between the unmovable mass and the vessel. This movement is transmitted via levers to push out a ball.
Let's head towards our next destination, the Mesopotamia. The Mesopotamia is a historical region of Western Asia along the river of Tigris and Euphrates. As of now, the region corresponds to most of Iraq, Kuwait, the eastern part of Syria, and the southeastern part of Turkey. The Sumerians, Akkadians, Assyrians, and Babylonians were the known civilization that had surfaced from Mesopotamia, but today we'll focus solely on the emergence of zero in the number system of the region. We have Sir Burse here to explain the details.
One might say that zero was an obvious piece in the numerical system. However, zero was just recently developed, or there was no such thing as a symbol for nothing or zero when the numerical system was made. Zero's origin most likely date back to the Fertile Crescent of the ancient Mesopotamia. Zero was called Naut, Nil, O, or many other things. At first, zero wasn't included in the numerical system. Sumerians and Babylonians used to indicate nothingness by space along with the symbols. But as the generation developed, it became part of the numerical system, which plays an important role in almost everything. It fulfills a central role in mathematics as the additive identity of the integer, real numbers, and many other algebraic structures. As digit 0 is used as placeholder in place value systems.
Oh, that's quite intriguing. So you mean to say that zero was the last one to be included in the number system? How interesting, and zero connotes nothing, By the way, thank you sir for lending some of your time with us. We're done here, so let's move to the next place. Let's go! We're currently here in Egypt. Just a brief background. Egypt is situated along the Nile River and was dubbed as the Land of Mysteries for its distinctive origins, religions, and monumental engineering structures. They are known closely with their pyramids, papyrus, inks, cosmetics, and clepsydra. However, what we'll be covering today will be mainly door locks, another technological invention that they are proud of. Sir, kindly explain the ancient door lock.
Yes, miss. History of mechanical locks started over 6,000 years ago in ancient Egypt, where locksmiths first managed to create simple but effective pin tumbler lock that was made entirely from wood. It consisted of wooden posts that was affixed to the doors and a horizontal bolt that slid into the post. This bolt had set of openings which were filled with pins, specially designed large and heavy wooden key that was shaped like modern toothbrush with pegs that corresponded to the holes and pins in the lock. This key could be inserted into opening and lifted, which would move the pins and allow security bolt to be moved.
Let's go next to Rome. Ancient Rome emerged as a small town on central Italy's Tiber River and eventually expanded exponentially due to its developing civilization, thus seizing most of continental Europe, Britain, much of Western Asia, Northern Africa, and the Mediterranean islands. For now, we'll be emphasizing their two engineering achievements, the creation of concretes and aqueducts that led them to become an empire. Mr. Luzada and Miss Gayon, can you expound what concrete and aqueducts are?
Yes, ma'am. As we all know, concrete, also called opus cementitium, was a material used in construction. Roman concrete was based on a hydraulic setting cement. It is durable due to its incorporation of pozzolanic ash, which prevent cracks from spreading. By the middle of the 1st century, the material was used frequently, often brick-faced. All the variations in aggregate allowed different arrangements of the materials. Further innovative developments in the materials, called the Concrete Revolution, contributed to structurally complicated forms such as the Pantheon Dome, the world's largest and oldest unreinforced concrete dome.
Aqueducts, on the other hand, are structures used to direct a water stream across a hollow or valley. These structures are used to supply cities and agricultural lands with fresh waters. Aqueducts were built to keep drinking water free of human waste and other contamination and thus greatly improve public health in cities with primitive sewerage systems. It took a total of 500 years, 312 BCE to 226 BCE, to build 11 aqueducts that stretched out from Germany to Africa and especially in Rome. Through the application of gravity, the water flowed along with the city and went through a series of distribution tanks within the city. Rome's famous fountains and baths were supplied in that way. Generally, water was not stored, and the excess was used to flush out sewers to aid the city's sanitation. Some of the aqueducts were still in use today.
Now we're done with Rome. Let's go next to Mexico to discover a Mesoamerican invention. Let's go! Mesoamerica includes part of Mexico and Central America. Mesoamerican civilization was developed in these areas wherein cultures and histories were recorded. Today, we'll be discussing food that they had invented, and it's the chocolate. Yes, chocolates were discovered during the ancient times. Mr. Piolo?
Chocolate is prepared from the fruit of Theobroma cacao, a tropical tree whose name means food of the gods in Greek. Chocolate's 4,000-year history began in ancient Mesoamerica, present-day Mexico. The Olmec, one of the earliest civilizations in Latin America, was the first to turn the cacao plant into chocolate. They drank their chocolate during rituals and used it as medicine. Centuries later, the Mayans praised chocolate as drink of the gods. Mayans poured this mixture from one pot to another, creating a thick, foamy beverage called chocolate, meaning bitter water. By the 15th century, the Aztecs used cocoa beans as currency. They believed that chocolate was a gift from the god Quetzalcoatl and drank it as a refreshing beverage, an aphrodisiac, and even to prepare for war.
So, we're now off with our last destination, Greece. Our first stop was on Antikythera, or Antikythera, is a Greek island lying on the edge of the Aegean Sea, between Crete and Peloponnese, where a mysterious analog computer was found. Take it away, Miss Joanna.
Antikythera mechanism is a hand-powered analog computer. It is found on a wreck of a 2,000-year-old vessel in the Greek island of Antikythera. It is the oldest known device that is like the size of a mantle clock. It is used to predict astronomical positions and eclipses for calendar and astrological purposes decades in advance.
Cartography is the study and practice of making geographical representation or maps. Although cartography was first created during the Babylonian civilization at around 6th century BC, the Greeks were the ones who made major advances in creating more accurate maps, contributing to science of astronomy and geography. The first cartographer that was recognized was Anaximander, an ancient Greek philosopher. He believed that the world was cylindrical and created the first world map, including Europe, Asia, Libya, and the Mediterranean and Black Seas.
Vitruvius first described the odometer as being used for measuring distance around 27 BC, but evidence point towards Archimedes of Syracuse as its inventor sometime around the First Punic War. Some historians also attribute its invention to Hieron of Alexandria. Regardless of who invented it, The odometer was widely used in the late Hellenistic period and by the Romans for indicating the distance traveled by a vehicle. It helped revolutionize the building of roads by accurately measuring distance. The Romans were then able to carefully mark distance with milestones. Even though modern odometers are digital, not so long ago they were more mechanical, slowly evolving into electromechanical with the rise of technology. This omnipresent instrument was also being used in ancient Greece.
And that concludes our trip for the day. Did you guys enjoy our trip? Isn't it wonderful to understand how the world works from the ancient times? Because for me, it's really satisfying to know those inventions, knowing that most of them are still widely used today. Of course, not the ancient ones, but the innovative ones. Thank you for lending your time with me. See you again, guys. Adios.